Good morning. This is your media report for Monday, September 14th, 2015. I'm Sergeant Lori McGee, Media Relations Officer for the St. John Police Force. From Friday morning, September 11th until today's date, police have responded to 230 calls for service. We would like to hear from anyone that has any information concerning any of our calls or investigations. We can be reached at 506-648-3333, at our email police@stjohn.ca, or you can do it anonymously through the Provincial Crime Stoppers at 1-800-222-8477 or on their website at crimemb.ca. On Friday morning at 9:02 a.m., police were called to a Wright Street residence for a report of a break-and-enter. The tenant reports being away for 2 days and reports returning to the apartment to discover several electronic items missing. The incident remains under investigation. At 1:02 a.m. Friday evening, police responded to First Street North residence for a report of a fire. The tenant reports hearing a noise, awoke, and discovered a small lit fire in the hallway. There were no injuries, and ident services and a fire department investigator are presently investigating the cause. At 1:29 a.m., police were called to Cannon Street for a report of a suspicious fire. Occupants were attempting to extinguish the fire, which was observed on the exterior of the building. Ident was called, as well as a fire investigator, to examine the scene, and the cause remains under investigation. At 4:43 a.m., police responded to a report of a break-and-enter at Shoppers Drug Mart on Lansdowne Avenue. Suspects were seen entering and leaving the store. The incident remains under investigation. On Saturday morning at 6:14 a.m., police were called to Princess Street for a report of a break-and-enter. The caller reports a male just broke into her apartment and left. Entry was gained through a kitchen window, and the suspect was observed exiting the front door. A bicycle was reported missing from the hallway of the building. Ident was called to the scene, and the incident remains under investigation. At 10:54 a.m., police responded to Lencher Street for a break-and-enter. The caller reports hearing his dog bark earlier in the morning. He later discovered a window open, and another occupant's purse was missing. The incident remains under investigation. At 2:49 p.m., police responded to Walmart on McAllister Drive for a report of a theft in progress. An officer pursued a male suspect, and an altercation ensued, resulting in the officer being assaulted. A 32-year-old male was arrested for theft, assaulting a police officer, and resisting arrest. He was later released and will appear in court at a later date. At 6:32 p.m. Saturday evening, police responded to a Ludlow Street area for a report of threats. A 31-year-old female was arrested for threats after a dispute with a neighbor. She was released to appear in court at a later date. At 11:15 p.m., a 23-year-old female was arrested for an outstanding theft from Shoppers Drug Mart on Westmoreland Road after she was observed walking on Cedar Street and stopped. She was released and will appear in court at a later date. At 11:30 p.m., police were called to Anglin Drive for a report of mischief. The caller reports that her vehicle was spray painted. The incident remains under investigation. At 2:51 a.m., a 33-year-old male was arrested for assault after an officer came across a fight in the parking lot of the Garden City Irving. The male was observed punching and dragging a female in the parking lot. The victim received minor injuries. The male was taken into custody and later released to appear in court at a later date. On Sunday at 9:42 a.m., police were called to Exhibition Park for a report of damage. The caller reports 2 buildings received several $100s worth of damage after several windows in both buildings were smashed. The incident remains under investigation. At 12:04 p.m., police checked a mail in front of the Best Buy store on McAllister Drive. It was learned that there was an endorsed failure to attend warrant outstanding for the 64-year-old male. The accused was processed and released to appear in court at a later date. At 12:45 p.m., police were called to Patterson Street for a report of a domestic. A 54-year-old male was arrested for threatening and assaulting a 54-year-old female when he grabbed her and pushed her to the floor. He was later released and will appear in court at a later date. At 8:15 p.m. last evening, police went to an Elliott Row residence where they arrested a 22-year-old male for an outstanding file of theft from the Giant Tiger on Prince Edward Street. He was released and will appear in court at a later date. At 8:20 p.m., a 21-year-old male was charged for an outstanding theft file and probation violation. He was released and will appear in court at a later date. And at 8:50 p.m. last evening, police went to a Rossay Road residence where they arrested a 31-year-old male for breach of an undertaking. The accused was held in custody for a court appearance. This concludes the media report for Monday, September 14th. Have a good day and be safe.